Hi everybody, it's Michael Buckley and I'm here with my friend Tom Zakrajczyk. How are you, Tom?
I'm great. How are you, Michael?
So we're at skating camp in Michigan, and this is the third time I've been to skating camp. How many times have you been to Audrey's skating camp?
Third too.
So, oh my god.
Yeah.
And it's so fun.
It's awesome.
It's an awesome time. So Tom is wonderful. He's a World Olympic figure skating coach, and he's actually very involved in social media. You enjoy tweeting, you keep an active Facebook page. You know, you're going to post some videos on YouTube. You really enjoy kind of reaching out to people who don't have the luxury necessarily of having a World Olympic coach. So what kind of made you want to be involved in social media?
Well, you know, I did it last year for the Professional Skaters Association just for the month of July. And it was a great learning experience for me because I got to figure out how to use the social media. I had never done that before. And then when I realized how many people were responding to it, and figured out it was a way for me to continue to give back to the sport a little bit, I just thought, well, you know what, it's not so hard for me because I've gone through the learning process. I'll just keep it up here and there.
Good. So I got some questions. So at camp today, I asked the skaters and the coaches, do you have any questions for Tom? And these were the questions I got. This is nice. You, Tom, had the most beautiful triple jumps. That's nice. What was your favorite when you were competing and skating? What was your favorite triple?
Triple Lutz.
Triple Lutz.
I love the Triple Lutz, yeah.
What's the funniest thing that happened to you as a skater? Do you have a funny story like, oh my god, this is so funny, I'm going to tell the whole world, or maybe embarrassing or funny, or there's got to be a million funny stories.
Whoa, yeah.
We pray you don't want to share all of them. One funny story. With one funny skater. You can say pass.
Oh, you mean as a coach?
Sure,
or as a skater?
either one.
Huh. Okay, well, since we're in Lansing, Michigan, the last time I was in Detroit for the Skate Detroit competition, I was teaching an intermediate lady, and she skated a clean program. She was so happy. She came running off the ice, jumped right into my arms, spiked me in the leg, and stepped on my foot.
Oh no!
Now I do have a scar in my shin from it, but she sliced my Armani shoes. Imagine that.
Imagine that.
I don't know. It was kind of like funny.
It's going to be in your next bill.
Because I couldn't, like, get upset at her.
No, it was such a happy moment. I literally thought you were going to say she peed all over the place. Because Audrey was telling a story, or someone was telling a story earlier about a student, like, peeing, and I'm like, oh my god.
Oh, well, I
before
have
a testing
some
session.
of those learn to skate stories that are like
that they pee. Oh.
But
no. We won't talk about that. Tom's evolved.
I was mad she ruined my shoes.
Yes, exactly. What can you tell a skater working on a double loop that doesn't have a strong edge? So if someone at home is working on a double loop and it's not a strong edge, what tips would you give them to work on the double loop?
Do lots of exercises for sure. Probably if it's a double loop, they're gonna think that they have to put more weight on their right leg.
Right.
So, and that is true at the moment of takeoff, but prior to that, they should put more weight on their left leg.
That's interesting.
The back inside it. Well, it's the left foot, but it's on the back outside edge, and so that's what I would say. Okay. Experiment with that, because that's going to help you.
Very good. This is a trick question. Who's a better tennis player, Audrey or you?
Well, of course it's me.
Is that from you, Audrey?
Audrey, come on,
tennis.
You know better. You cheat.
Oh,
of course I'm the better tennis player. And the last time we played tennis with Peter Opergaard at the
name dropping
at the JGP in Lake Placid, I think I beat both of you. They were playing doubles against me.
Now what?
And,
now what?
And I beat them single-handed.
Now what? And just so you know, at home when we're at camp, it's very competitive. We have a ping pong tournament, and it's hilarious because figure skaters who are very competitive at skating, they're very competitive at anything. So if you play tennis or table tennis or anything, we are competitive.
Now, don't be mad at me, Audrey, but when Audrey plays tennis, it looks like she's catching butterflies.
I believe you.
How's that for a visual?
Oh my god!
I love you, Audrey.
We love you, Audrey. What has been your most memorable moment as a coach? So if you could think back, you probably have a couple, but like one might pop out. Like
okay, right away, Rachel Flatt winning 2010 Nationals in Spokane and knowing she was going to be on the Olympic team.
Yeah,
that really sticks out.
That's a good one.
Because she did it in great fashion, right?
Yeah,
like it was.
Yeah. Nice. That's a nice moment.
Win and in a big moment.
Yeah.
And right after Sasha skated, that was like
right. And she had been. Sasha was in second after the short, so it kind of was like, oh, maybe she's back in it, or maybe and then she. So the whole dynamic of the building was interesting. So that's a good one. That sounds right. Tom, how do you balance your family life with your skating life? I'm sure a lot of coaches and professional skaters have that same question. Like, it's tough, you know? Or
It is.
Yeah.
And it's a constant challenge. It's easy for me, though, especially as my kids are aging.
And how old are your two?
They're 12 and 10.
Okay.
So Madison's 12, Dylan's 10. And so as they're aging, it's actually easier for me to make time, and I do cut away from coaching sometimes just to be at their functions and support them. And there are certain times of the year where obviously I can't do that because we're in season, but it's actually easier. And when they were younger, they didn't really notice, right? Because they're so young. And
Are they very interested in skating? Or they're like, oh, Daddy's on TV? Or could they care less? Are they very into it?
They know what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell it influences them in their lives, which makes me a proud dad because I try to teach them just to work hard at whatever they do. And they're involved in different activities and just always listen to their teachers or their coaches. And so if I'm having that kind of influence on their life and they sometimes tell me that, that makes me happy.
It's nice.
Yeah.
That's good. How do you teach so many hours and not burn out? Do you ever feel burned out? Do you ever take time? Can you take time off?
About every 2.5 years, I need a vacation. So I don't really need a lot of time off.
How many hours a week are you coaching?
A lot, like from 6 to 6 every day except Saturday. It's like from 6 to 2.
Are you addicted to coaching? Or you
Kind
just
of.
love it so much?
Well, I love it. And I said this to someone at my camp last week at the Air Force Academy. Somebody asked me the same question in like a Q&A, and it's really because I love it. I don't ever feel like I'm working, no matter which time of day or which level of skater I'm working with. It's just so enjoyable to me that I think that's why I don't get burnt out.
Wow,
or that
nice.
I need vacations just periodically.
You love it? Yeah, that's
So.
good. Who are your 5, I always ask people this, it's so funny that someone said this. Who are your 5 all-time favorite skaters? You have to be able to name them.
I can. Well, okay, so skaters I don't coach.
Yeah.
Janet Lynn is one of them.
Good one.
And then Michelle Kwan is another.
Of course, everyone's top 5.
Yes. Brian Boitano.
Yeah.
If I'm having to pick only 2 more.
2 more.
And so this is just single skaters only.
Sure. You keep it simple.
Yes. Yevgeny Plashenko.
Interesting. Didn't see that coming.
Because he's such a legend. I mean,
and he's coming back, so he says.
Yes, but I mean, just like,
yeah,
you got to give it up for longevity.
You enjoy his longevity and you appreciate his career.
And what he contributed to the sport.
Yeah.
Right? And then...
One more.
Did I say John Curry?
Nope, John Curry. That's good. That's a good one. Someone asked Tom, what's his favorite color? Do you have a favorite color?
Blue.
My favorite color is blue, too.
Yeah.
You have very blue eyes, so I'll be a high five. High five for blue. What do you? One of the coaches says, "What do you do when the parents are crazy? What is your?" And I'm sure other coaches. What is your advice for dealing with? Because there are lots of crazy parents.
Okay, so first of all, I don't ever think of them as crazy. Number one. Yeah. Secondly, they care about their child and they're really passionate. So I try to impart my wisdom to them about how they can do that in a healthy way, because the research shows all Olympians and Olympic champions have very driven parents.
Right.
So that can sometimes come across as crazy. So I try to help them manage their feelings, their personal feelings about helping their child. I hopefully explain to them that they can trust me.
Yeah.
And usually if they're the kind that are going to try to help their children at the ice rink, I try to tell them what to do.
Yeah.
Because at least, I got that tidbit from John Nix many years ago, at least if they're going to be involved in that way and kind of like a pseudo coach and give advice, I want it to be correct.
Right.
So then I just try to educate them so that they
you see her working on this, give her these corrections that I'm already giving
absolutely.
her, so you're just not yelling.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah, and I do believe that success happens when the parent, coach, and the skater work together. Right. So I don't try to push them away or tell them not to come to the rink because I don't believe that's going to help, right?
Right. Do you have any tattoos? Where, when, and why?
Yes, I have one.
What is
Should
it?
I show it?
Sure, yes.
All right, I gotta pull down my sock. You see it?
So it's on your ankle.
It's a yin-yang
When
symbol.
did you get it?
I got it at regionals in Dallas, Texas in 2003, I think, or something like that.
Happy 10, 11-year anniversary of your tattoo.
Yes, and I got it because I always wanted a tattoo. And then that specific symbol represents balance between masculine and feminine energy, and I was just at a point in my life where I was trying to have balance. So it seemed...
Nice. And that's it, though? You've had that for 10 years and you never thought, I would like to get something else? You're
no,
good for
actually it really hurt.
Yeah, that's a sensitive bone.
I didn't realize that when I picked that out. Nobody told me.
Where do you keep your Olympic ring, which he's wearing, when you're not wearing it? You must have a special spot for it.
On the bathroom counter, because I don't wear rings when I sleep. So my rings stay right on the counter.
What is your most prized possession? You can't say it has to be something in your, like you're in a fire. The family and the children and the pets are out. What's your prized possession you run back in and get?
Oh, wow. Boy.
You need to know in case your house is on fire.
You know what's so funny is because we've had fires in Colorado the last 2 years, my wife put everything that we value in tubs, and we have it in storage so we wouldn't lose that.
Smart. So your prized possessions are taken care of.
Yeah, so I'm trying to
wonder what's in
think.
these tubs.
Like most of it's like
kid stuff.
Yeah, kid stuff. And it's... Huh. Boy, if I had to pick...
It's too late. You're dead. You've run in the fire.
I know.
I'm just teasing.
Like, I don't. I guess I don't really have something material that I'm not attached to that couldn't be replaced.
That's important. I think that's a good lesson too. This is a final question. I like this question. One of the coaches wanted to know what are some attributes in a champion that you look for. So, like, when you're looking around, what are the most important things in a champion?
Drive. They want to practice. Attention to detail. They want to learn things properly. The ability to work independently on their own when they're not in a lesson. Enthusiasm, they like it, or they love it. They have to, because they have to work so long at it to get good at it. And then probably the ability to compete under pressure. I think some of that, I mean, you have to be able to perform for sure, but under pressure, some people can do all the other things, and then when their name is announced, they might not stay vertical.
Right.
So that ability to handle that pressure.
I have a final question that I just thought of. So as a top-level world Olympic coach, we're in a new Olympic cycle. Like, what goals do you set? Do you set goals for yourself, or is it all for the students? Like, I have specific goals for each student, or like, and do you have the 4-year conversation, or do you kind of take a year at a time? So it's like, are you in for 4 more years? I need to know. So kind of talk to me about that.
Yes, and most of the athletes at that age, they'll commit for 4 years, 1 year at a time, has been my experience. It's hard for them. When they're younger, they'll commit for 4 years.
I mean, for 8 years. I mean, then you're like,
yes, and I do 4-year plans with my highly competitive younger skaters. Certainly it's not to get to the Olympics, but it's to plan out 4 years of their skating so that maybe they go from the preliminary level to the junior or novice level in 4 years, something like that. With the guys that are at the top, it's certainly the thought about what it will take for them to stay in the sport and be competitive in 4 years in a very general way, and then specifically you have to hone in on what they have to do for the next season. And you know, at that level, I'm doing a little planning for them because it's hard for them to visualize their life. You know, if you're 21, you don't necessarily see yourself at 25, or you don't want to.
Right.
So that's my job, to kind of keep those athletes that are in that age group on track for 4 years. However, I don't really set goals for them. It's always driven by them, and then my goals are adjusted based on that.
Right.
So obviously, if you have athletes that are at the world level, you can kind of set goals. I mean, personally for me, I'd love to coach world level skater to the podium, first of all, get a medal. Yeah. And then hopefully a champion someday.
Well, that's a good goal, right?
Yes. But a lot of that isn't really dependent on me. I can have that goal, but then I have to have the athletes that want to work towards that mutual goal, getting there themselves, and then we have to be able to work together. So it's a little trickier getting to that final stage as a coach, but well, I have faith it'll all work out someday.
Awesome. Well, I'm so happy that we spent time together. And everyone who's watching on YouTube, they can find you on Twitter. It's at Coach
Tom Z.
Tom Z.
Same on Instagram.
Same on Instagram, and you have a Facebook page as well. So we'll put all the links below so you can check Tom out. And it was wonderful chatting with you.
And thank you for doing my interview.
You're very welcome.
He is the perfect person to do it. I'm so
honored. Stop. I will see you at Nationals next year. Hopefully lots of success for your students.
Well, thank you, Michael.
All right, thank you, Tom.
All right.
Yay!